Hi class, welcome to the beginning of another week for your summer class. This week for English 1A, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking at gender roles and family relationships. So this week is kind of hitting close to our family life and our needs as individuals. The last few weeks that we looked at in this class, we looked first at education, then we looked at the world of work. Now we're focusing in more on the individual, and the individual in terms of gender roles and family and, of course, relationships. Because when you ultimately think about it, the reason why you want to have a career, the reason why you want to have an education is so that you can have a good life. And a good life has a lot to do with your home life and your personal life. And so this week, we're going to be focusing on gender roles and family relationships. And we're going to kind of look at the history of gender roles in American society from about the 1950s to current times. So we are going to look more at the history, and this is just a historical look at what was considered normal in family relationships, where the wife stayed at home and the husband had a career, and the wife took care of the children, she took care of the home. And that was considered a normal family at one time. A lot of the TV shows in the 50s reflected that. However, women weren't necessarily happy about it. Neither were some of the men. And so you're going to be looking at some of the TV shows, commercials that allude to these gender roles and the exploitation of people, in particular women, to sell products, to have women be in lower level positions, to have women be dominated by a male society. Some of it still goes on today. Some of it is self-inflicted. Some people are very happy with the gender roles the way it is, and some people are not. So I want you to have a really good flavor about this, and to really think about where you stand. Like, what are your thoughts? So I've got some commercials here. I've got a Barbie commercial. I've got a car commercial. I've got some commercials that came on from the 1950s all the way until the early 80s, the 1980s, very historically vintage commercials to show you, as well as some TV shows from the 1950s to kind of show you some contrast of what is considered normal now. But, think about it. Some of these gender roles are still very much in play with reality TV, with the bachelorette looking for a husband or the bachelor looking for a wife. These current TV shows of today, that's just one of them, where the gender roles are still very prevalent in these TV shows of today. And so even though it kind of looks different, it really isn't. But then there are other shows that kind of challenge those gender roles as well. So the reason why I talk about television and commercials is because media has a huge influence as role models for our society. It always has, since the television hit the living rooms of people's homes. It's been very influential in selling products, in creating images, creating ideas, and even ways of thinking about relationships. The news also alludes to that too. I noticed that most female news anchors are wearing really skimpy dresses to get the attention of male viewers, and that the men are really handsome and they have a lot of hair and they wear these wonderful suits. These are just like little nuances of ways, like it's not what they're saying, it's what they look like, and they fall into these gender roles. And the reason is that these people, in addition to doing what they do in front of the camera, they're selling a product. They're selling the clothes they're wearing, or the makeup, or whatever product, maybe a food or a coffee or something. And so there's a lot of selling behind media. And people try to emulate these figures and in front of them. And really, what are your thoughts about that? Do you agree or disagree? How much television do you watch? Or, it's not even just television, it's Instagram, social media with Twitter, and Facebook, and all of those other Snapchat, where people see pictures. TikTok is now really popular. And so people get their ideas and their impressions of life through the media. So that's why I focus a lot on the media in this week's work. It's kind of interesting in the sense that you're all going to be affected one way or another by gender roles and the media and family relationships, whether you're single or you're married, or you want to be married, or you want to be single, you're married and you want a divorce, or whatever. You're all going to have some sort of effect by this, because ultimately what makes us human is our personal relationships and our desires of who we want to become and what we want to do. So take a look at these shows that I have for you, and see how you feel about this week's module, and hope you write a really fabulous essay this week.